Ready for our Chapter 4 final project, I'm going to show you how to use cloth physics to make an amazing cloth reveal for any object. Now, this is just a short example of kind of how cloth physics work, and I'm going to be talking about pin groups as well. You can see right here that we have a cloth that's kind of sitting over our sphere here, and as we back this up, you can tell that our cloth falls onto the sphere, and it's controlled by a couple of different items here. We have an empty, we have a pin group, and I'm going to go over all of that. And this is really awesome to be able to use something like this, and the cloth physics are pretty simple to set up. So let's go ahead and delete everything, and I'm going to go ahead and add a new object. In this case, I'll just add Suzanne, so I'm going to add the monkey in. And Suzanne, all we need for her is a collision, so I'm going to go ahead and add in a collision. All right, I'm going to go to our side view, I'm going to rotate her, and put it right there. That looks perfect. Go ahead and scale that down a little bit, and then I'm going to add a floor plane as well. I'm going to add a mesh plane, scale that up. And now let's go ahead and add in a collision to that as well. So we have a collision on the plane and on the monkey, and this looks perfect. I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick save, and I'm going to call this cloth pool. Make sure you guys save this, please, because again, Blender could crash at any time. All right, now we need a surface to act as our cloth. So I'm going to add in another plane. You can see it's kind of intersecting our floor. We'll just bring it right above Suzanne here. Now we have this plane, and we need to subdivide it as we remember in this chapter. So let me go ahead and tab into edit mode, right click, subdivide. Now you're going to see something pop up down here. Make sure you open that up. For the subdivisions, we're going to do 30. And you can see we have a nice subdivided cloth now. Now, all we need to do is add our cloth physics. Simply click on cloth, go ahead and press play, and our cloth falls on Suzanne. And just like that, we have a cloth simulation. But there's a couple more things we need to do. Well, first of all, our cloth doesn't really look that good. So let's go into our modifiers and let's add in a subdivision modifier. And as you can see, if we simply right click now and we shade auto smooth, this looks a little better. I'll go ahead and bump up our levels to 2, and you can see we have a realistic cloth simulation now. If I press play, this looks really, really good. Another thing I want to do is I want to enable self collisions. So under our collisions tab within our cloth properties, we're going to scroll down, we're going to find self collisions, we're going to enable that. Now when we back this up, the cloth will be able to collide with itself. Now this looks really good. You can see it's jumping around a little bit, it's a little glitchy, and it will get like that. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to go ahead and drop this cloth over Suzanne, and then we're going to pull it away using pin groups. So how do we do this? Well, I'm going to tab into edit mode on my plane, and you see we have a lot of vertices to work with here. We're actually going to select this entire row on the end here of vertices. Now to do that, I'm going to switch to my X-ray mode here. I'm going to select my X view. I'm going to zoom in. Hopefully you can see this on your screen. I'm just going to highlight the end. Now if we highlight the end, it's actually going to highlight everything through our plane. And you'll see I have just these ending vertices selected. Control H, all right, ready? Control H. We're going to select hook to new object, and that's going to add an empty that's actually going to control, I didn't mean to press 0, that's actually going to control our vertices here. So if I tab out of edit mode and I move this empty, notice how it controls this group here. There's one more thing we need to do. If we tab back into edit mode, all right, we're going to go ahead and go to this little green icon down here on the bottom right. This is going to be our data properties panel. And in the vertex groups, I want you to click on this plus sign, and we can name this group whatever we want. I'll just double click on it and name it Kenny for this purpose. I'll click on assign, and now that vertex group is assigned to our pin group, and that'll make sense in a second. We're going to tab out of edit mode. We're going to go to our cloth settings, which is right in our physics panel here. We're going to scroll all the way down, and under shape, there's going to be a tab that says shape at the bottom here. We're going to find that. There's going to be something that says pin group. Go ahead and click on that and select Kenny. And now what's going to happen is if we press play, and I'll get out of X-ray mode so you can see this. If we press play, you'll notice that now that line of vertexes that we selected is going to act as a pinned group, as if you took a bobby pin and pinned this to the wall, or something of that nature. As we play this back, this looks really good. Now here's what's really cool. We can actually animate our empty so that we can drag our cloth along. Now I'll show you why this will work and it won't work. I'm going to go ahead and click on our empty on frame 1. I'm going to hit I to insert a keyframe. I'm going to head over to frame 50, and I'm just going to move this all the way over on the y-axis, and I'm going to hit I again to keyframe. So now we're going to get something that looks like this, and let's see if it's working. And it's not really working. Now, why is that? Well, I'm going to explain. what we have to do is we have to go back to our cloth. We have to click on our cloth. All right, I'm going to choose random colors here so you guys can see. And then I'm going to go to my modifiers, and you'll see we have a lot going on. We have our cloth, we have our hook, our subdivision, our smooth by angle. I'm going to move this hook above our cloth modifier. Now, when we press play, you can see that our cloth has now been moved by our empty. And the reason this is important is because the hook needs to be considered before the actual cloth itself. So now that empty is controlling those vertices, and it's also controlling the pin group, which is going to pull our cloth. Let's play this back again. And that looks really good. And if you wanted it to be even more dramatic, you would simply make your cloth bigger, which we could do. If we go back one more time, I just want to show you the detail level here. I'm really going to zoom in. Again, Suzanne is covered and she is revealed. And this just looks awesome. And if you want even more detail, go ahead and give Suzanne her own subdivision modifier and just simply apply that. Right click, shade auto smooth. Now you should have an even better simulation. This looks fantastic. And that is how you do a cloth reveal. Let's go ahead and add a few materials in here real quick and set up a quick scene, and then we're going to call it a day on this one. Let's go to rendered view. Now, similar to our previous projects, I'm going to go over to our world settings. I'm going to add in an environment texture. I'm going to click on open. I'm going to find my custom HDRI folder. I've downloaded all these from Polyhaven, so they're all free. I'm going to select this one right here. And now we have some basic lighting on our scene. And then for our floor, I'm just going to click on our floor. I'm going to go to my materials, add a new material, and I think I'll just choose sort of like a darker color. And then for Suzanne, I'm going to make Suzanne a chrome color. So I'm going to go ahead and click on new material. I'm going to raise that metallic value, and I'm going to lower the roughness quite a bit. And then for our cloth, last but not least, let's go ahead and add a new material. I think I'm going to choose sort of a yellow kind of gold material, and I'm going to raise this metallic value, and I'm going to lower that roughness quite a bit. Now, if we play this back, you can see we have this amazing gold cloth on a metallic Suzanne, and it looks great. The only other thing I might change is I might actually just make the cloth a little bit bigger, and that's something that's really easy to do. We'll go back to solid view, and I'll simply select everything here, scale it up, and we should be good to go. And just like that, we have our cloth reveal. But she's not quite there yet. So let's go ahead and click on our empty, and I want to make sure that our empty goes all the way out. Now I'm going to drag this keyframe out to frame 80 or so, and I'm also going to drag this out a little bit further. And I'm going to insert that new keyframe by pressing I. Now if we go back, let's go ahead and play this back. Wasn't quite there. All right, we didn't quite get that, but let's go ahead and go back and play it one more time. Make sure that our cache is looking okay. All right, we're gonna go into our cache. We're gonna click on bake. All right, now this is why we always use a cache when we can, because Blender needs to be able to calculate this. So let's see how this looks now. Much better. All right, we have something to actually work with here. Let's look at this in rendered view. And then let's set up a camera. Very awesome. All right, let's set up a camera. I'm going to go back to solid view, add camera, and our camera kind of spawns in the middle here. I'm going to set it up off to the side here. I think I'm going to give it a little bit of rotation. I'm going to set it up right here. Now to snap to my camera, again, like last time, I'm going to click this little camera button. I think I'm going to put this off over here. I'm going to rotate a little bit. Let's see what this looks like in rendered view. All right, this looks pretty good. I think I'm going to go with an isometric perspective for our camera. So over here in our camera settings, go to orthographic, and I'm going to raise this up on the Z-axis a little bit. And I'm just using my transform tools on the right to get the perspective that I like. And I think I'll zoom in a lot on Suzanne. And I'll go ahead and take our floor plane, and I'll scale this out a lot as well. Now you'll notice that this cloth is interacting in a strange way, and that's because we need to rebake. So after I scale this plane out, I'm going to click on our cloth, go over to our cloth settings. I'm going to delete the current bake, and then I'm going to bake it one more time. And the reason we need to do this is because we adjusted things that have physical properties. So Blender needs to recalculate this for us. All right, let's see how this looks now. We play this back, and this looks fantastic. Now you guys can choose any materials you want for this. There's one more really cool thing I want to do. I want to enable depth of field, and I want to move my camera so that Suzanne is in the center of our scene. I'm going to click on my camera icon down here, enable depth of field, and everything is going to get blurry, but don't worry. We're going to choose our focus object with this eyedropper, and I'm going to select on Suzanne, and then I think I'm going to raise my f-stop up to maybe 6. The reason I think this looks so cool is because I just love this effect. I think I'll choose F8, by the way. F8 looks good. Now, I love this effect because it focuses on just the object that we want to. And last but not least, I'm going to raise up this pass part out value so we can really narrow in on our scene here. Now let's go ahead and play this back. And I gave it a quick save if you didn't notice. This looks amazing. Look at that cloth reveal. This looks so good. And there's so much you can do with this. Now, the more subdivisions that your cloth has, the more realistic it's going to look. So this is the last thing I'll show you, and then we'll wrap this part up here. Go ahead and tab into edit mode. Press A to select everything on your plane. Right click, subdivide, tab back out of edit mode, and we're going to get a little bit of a glitch here. And the reason why is because we need to rebake. So I'm going to go back to my physics settings for my cloth, scroll all the way down to our cache, delete my bake, and I'm going to rebake one more time. Now you'll notice this time around, it's taking quite a lot longer for Blender to bake this. And that's because the more geometry we have to work with, the more Blender needs to calculate. So it's a lot for Blender to work on for us. And if you want to, at any point, escape this bake, you simply click the escape key and it'll pause where it left off. I typically don't do this. I just let Blender do its thing and run its course. The reason we're getting a glitch right now is because we added something that Blender wasn't ready for, right? It didn't know how to calculate that out. We're almost at the end here. And as soon as we are done, we're going to go ahead and play this back. We're going to see how it looks, and then we're going to move on to our next chapter. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Now, there's something really important to point out. You'll notice how weird everything looks back here. The reason it looks so weird is because our vertex group was assigned with those original vertices, and we added more. But regardless, I want you to notice the new level of detail here. If you wanted to fix this problem back here, all you'd have to do is highlight all of the vertices you want included into your pin group and reassign them to that vertex group. Just a quick fix on that. I want to go back to solid view. We're going to go ahead all the way back to frame 1. We're going to tab into edit mode, and we're going to go back to our X-ray mode. Okay. I'm going to go to my X view and zoom in, highlight that edge there. And all we got to do is go back to our vertex mode, make sure we're selected on our original group, click on assign, tab out of edit mode, all right? And then we have to rebake. So now I'm going to go ahead and click on delete bake, and then I'm going to bake again. And as soon as that is done, we will be good to go. Also, don't be foolish like me, and don't forget to delete your empty, or make sure you reparent all your vertices to it. So I'm going to go ahead and delete our empty. I'm going to tap back into edit mode, Control H with all those vertices selected, hook to new object, and we're just going to reanimate that real quick. And that is my fault for not telling you guys that. I'm going to go ahead and click on our empty one more time, insert a keyframe, go all the way to frame 100 or so, and I'll just go ahead and drag this out right here, insert a keyframe, and I know things look glitchy. It's because we need to rebake. Click on your cloth, and one last time, rebake. And just like that, we are good to go. Let's go ahead and play this back. That is looking a whole lot better. I'm very happy with this render. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next chapter. In the next lesson, we'll be diving into fluid, smoke, and fire physics, where we'll learn to create stunning liquid and gas simulations. See you soon.